guys, and welcome back to the build of the Swallow 108 part 4. And I'm going to start with the ailerons. I've decided to have a go at them. I was wondering if I should carve them out of solid balsa as it says on the plan, or if I should try and make some built up ones. Well, I'm going to have a go. I made a start of some built up ones, so let me bend you down and show you what I'm doing. Initially I thought I'd make a solid trailing edge, and I thought, well, hang on a minute, that's going to be very difficult to sort of bend up in a nice sweep. So I've cut some 1/32 1mm balsa strips, quite hard, and it's flat here and it twists up to the end by way of wedges. So I'm just using the tail end of some of the ribs. Basically I'm just sticking, I'll have to cut one for here, I haven't done it yet, but this one can go here, and this one is nearly level and this one's flat. And then when they're in, I can then glue on the top piece, and it should sort of, in theory, stay in shape. We'll see. So this one here is going to go back here. I'm just lining it up with that rib and leaving a little gap at the bottom for some 1/32. Let's leave it like that for a minute. 1/32 cap strips. I think it's taken. Just put a little bit on there. I don't want to press down too hard because it's not got a wedge under there. As you can see, I've put in the leading edge of the aileron here. So that's 1/8 balsa to match the trailing edge of the wing part. And I'm going to put a cap strip on the top of that, probably a 1/16 of an inch, just to bring it up to the same height. There we go. So that's 2 ribs in. I've got to cut the third now, and I'll just cut it out of the body of this piece of rib here that I didn't use. In fact, what I can do, I can just trace it directly from that. So let me just sand the leading edge a bit. Let's try that. And I've got a piece of 1/32 I just use in there as a spacer. I used up that end. So this will go in here. Let's turn it that way around in a minute, just to give me a little spacer. But before I do that, I want to draw on there, or maybe cut it with a knife. It's raining outside, I can hear the downpipe drain gurgling away. Right, let's see what that looks like. Pretty much okay. So we just need the spacer in there. 1mm. We put that in there, like that. That's our gap, and that's holding up the right place. So a little drop of CA in there. Give it a squeeze. A little drop back there. Okay, move that spacer along a bit, pin that down, there we go. So what I'm going to do now is to cut one more rib, so it's got to be a transition from this one, which is flat on the bottom, to this one, which has got quite a bit of curve on it, to sit in there. Then I'll just have to taper the back slightly to get it a nice tight fit, gently, and then that can glue on there, and that will be an aileron made. So let me crack on with this a minute, guys, and I'll come back to you when I've finally got this last piece on. Right, both ailerons are made up now, so I'm happy with those. And my next job, I've just been fettling. Well, I've got the wings in position, so I'm going to make a plywood piece to go on the former there, then I can cut out for the battery. But I've been fettling another cowl. What I'm talking about, I've been fettling another cockpit. Here's the one I made, just to try and get it to the length. It was horrible, but I've made another one. I've cut it off. I could have cut that one off actually, but anyway, I cut it off and made a much more pleasing shape. So that will go, in theory it should go there, but I'm thinking I might prefer it to be at the back. Further back doesn't make a lot of difference, but it's going to be fixed, and I'm thinking if I try and mold it, then it won't be quite so easy to get hold of it and use it as a, you know, handle, as it were. So I might just leave it solid and paint it. Anyway, that's coming on. It's nearly there. Bit of wood on the back. That looks quite nice. The next thing to do is to fix a piece of plywood where the main spars come through the former. So I've just marked it. I'm just wondering how much, let's take that fin off. Just wondering how much room I've got to get a battery in there. I might have to change. So it's a half foot at 2200. I'm going to put something across here anyway. Ply or a couple of bits of hardwood maybe. Things I don't want to come up too high above the spars because I'm impeding my battery area. I mean, I might find the battery has to go all the way to the nose, in which case it won't matter. But whatever I put in, it wants to be fairly substantial, I think. So that's what I'm going to work on next. Okay, here's a 3S battery. Let's cut this bit out and see what we've got. This is something you can't plan for in advance. Not really, anyway. I can't anyway. It's just something that you modify when things are in place, isn't it? Okay, that's it. That's how much space I've got. Let's see what happens. I've got Velcro on the side, which may impede things a bit. But it's always that wire that catches you out on the whip, isn't it? That goes in. How about that? So that's all the way to the nose. CG is actually here on the plan, which I believe is pretty accurate. But at the moment it's there. But of course the wings are going to be tapering back, so there is that. Or I can bring it all the way back to here if necessary. Roughly there anyway. So it brings it forward to here. So I think I can safely put a battery box in there all the way to the front. Bit of ply, bit of hard balsa, whatever I fancy. I can just go all the way down to the front. I can just slide that in, and sideways I don't think I need a box as such. Sideways wise it'll be held in place with that former. And I might not have the width for sides, have I? Probably, yeah, probably could. Just maybe. I can certainly put a floor in there. So let me get a floor together and fix it in. The floor will go, I can actually measure it with this. Look, if I make it to about 13 centimeters or 5 inches with the width of whatever that is, width of 39 millimeters. So 130 by 39. There's a nice bit of 16th. Look, that should do it. Let's mark it up. Pencil. Yeah, just get it out. Okay, give that a go. I was thinking of putting the receiver down under here, but I don't think I should be able to get past my battery tray, to be honest, so to go with what we've got. There we go. So there's the battery. That's a 3S 2200, which if I need the balance, if I need the weight, then that's what I'll put in. I'd sooner go for the biggest capacity battery I could, just to elongate the flight times, because we know, as we know, EDFs suck up the juice. I'm happy with that as it stands. I don't think I need any side panels. But what I want to do now is a bit I've been looking forward to, and that is the air intakes. They're a major part of the design. So basically there's a side piece like this, and then there's a triangular piece with a couple of verticals in it, and I think I'll make the side panels first. They're curved this way and that way, so each piece is going to be out of a piece of soft balsa and carved away. The only thing I'm thinking about in advance is if I'm going to tissue it and I've got a solid, for example, lump there, I won't be able to, unless I tissue up around it. Ideally I want something around it to stick the tissue to, so I might infill this bit, but I'll shape these up first and see what sort of size I'm talking about, and then we'll be able to progress from there. I've been busy insofar as I've put in the little hatch for the servo, and I'm going to hot glue the servo in place. I'm using these 4.3 gram servos. They're a little bit smaller than the ones I took out of the MiG. In fact, I'm only using the ESC out of the MiG, but I'll use the fan in something soon. So these little 4.3 gram servos, I've run them up and they're really quite torquey. So GS power digital servo 4.3 gram. So I'm going to hot glue that in place, and this panel 1mm ply will just unscrew, come straight out. So I'm quite pleased with that. I'm still wondering if I should just cut these wires and solder them longer, or whether I should buy some extensions. While I think about that, I can carry on with the air intake. Alright, now I can pop this wing off a minute. As you can see, the other servo's hanging out there. That one's up to the same spec and goes in. This one goes in just there, like that. Hot glue it in place, then I'll just tissue right down over the top. So they're ready to be fitted up. But I'm just going to carry on. I've cut out the side bit and roughly rounded it. And then I've got these parts here, which go like that. One there and one below. They're not sanded to shape really yet, like that. And then there's a couple of uprights that go in there, and that forms the intake. So it looks really nice. So I think the first step probably will be to glue these side cheeks into position. Okay, the cheeks are on here, so now I'm just offering up some little triangular pieces, and they'll go in there like that. I have to leave them high enough to allow me to skin this area once the wings are glued on. So I'm going to leave them up here and proud a minute. They want to be about there, I think. So let's just drop some CA on that to hold it in position. A bit down there, and run some in down there. And we'll turn it over, do it same on the inside. That should hold it. Okay, top one in, bottom one goes in here. The bottom one is quite a bit shorter, so I think I'll cut those again. I'll use this one on the top over there, and the bottom one can be cut about 1/4 inch less. You just get some 1/8, cut them out. Go a little bit wider just in case I need to sand it. Yep. Okay, so that will fit in there, and then I think there are some verticals to go in there. Right, I can shape that down a little bit there and think about some verticals. So I think we've still got a fairly decent intake area, coupled with the cheat holes at the back. That might even be enough, who knows, but I'll do the other side, guys, and I'll be right back to you. I haven't fixed the servos yet, but I have done the air intakes. They look pretty cool, I think. And I've just offered the wings up, and I think they're now ready to fit. As soon as they're glued on, I'll use white glue and a bit of epoxy around the ends of these, and then when that's dry I can sheet in the top section, bringing it up to the height of the wing ribs. There's quite a bit of dihedral on this model, more so than the full size. Am I worried about it? No, I don't think so. The original Jetex model would have been had dihedral, so I'm going to leave it. I think I could try and sand the end ribs, but it'll fly hands off beautifully. I could glue the wings on tonight, but I think I'm just going to sleep on it. Just want to get it right in my mind, and then tomorrow I'll glue them on and clamp them up, hot glue in the servos, hinge in the ailerons. Looking very nice. I'm really quite happy with that air intakes. They look really nice. I'll feather all this in when the time comes, when the wings are fitted. But for now, I think we'll knock it on the head, guys, and continue it tomorrow. If you're enjoying the build, give it a thumbs up. It helps to promote the video. If YouTube sees people watching it and giving it thumbs up and interacting and commenting, they'll promote the video to other modelers around the world. So there we are. See you soon. I've slept on it and I can't see any reason not to glue the wings on. I'm going to solder extensions on the aileron servos, so I've taken those out, and I think we're ready to actually just glue them on. Okay, here we go. Yeah, here we go. put a little bit of epoxy on here before it pushes through. And I'll add some more in a minute. Okay, clamps. There's not many places I can clamp it actually, so it's got to be here, and I've got to line up the bottom of the wing with the bottom of the fuselage. See if I can put that. It's quite a powerful one, that. So let's have a look, see how we're doing. Yeah. Okay, let's do the other one. Make sure everything is lined up and level. Okay, we'll let that set, guys, and come back to it, and we can start looking at sheeting the top in. Cool, cheers. Right, it's been a few minutes, guys. Well, it's been a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours actually, so let's unpin this baby and see what we've got. Now it's pretty true, pretty equal. So beautiful, look at that. Thing of beauty. Right, I can't, can I? No, you can't, Cliff. I can't cover this in yet because I have to push the wires through here, and it's got to get into the cockpit. How did I plan? I don't know. How did you plan to get them through? Let's move these weights out the way. How did I plan? It's just, oh, it can come through here. They've only got to come to this area. So before I can skin this, I have to extend the servo wires, then install the servos, then I can skin this central area and hinge the ailerons, make a catch for the hatch, and we're ready for covering. So yeah, I'm going to have to leave the video here, I think, and go away and do some soldering and fitting in, and then I'll come back to you when I've got that done. But just in case I don't come back to you before my cut-off deadline for this week's video, which is more than likely, I'll see you in the next video when I'm just doing what I've just said, and we can make a bit more progress. So I'll link the build series. This is part 4. I'll link the build series at the end of this video, just up here, and yeah, see you then. Give the video a thumbs up, by the way, helps with the promotion to other channels, other viewers, you know what I mean. Cheers, guys.